Hello, 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 hello. I've just realized I've got my YouTube open, so I just need to quickly shut that down so that we don't get an echo. Because when I go live, I always forget to do that.
Okay.
So I'm absolutely delighted to be here with Dr. David Silverman. Now, a lot of people on my channel will recognize you, David, because we've done quite a few videos together because both you and I are really passionate about sharing health solutions for people. So before we get into the nitty gritty of today, where we're going to be asking lots of people's questions and answers about redox signaling molecules and Asea and what it can do for them and what it can't do for them, can you just introduce yourself to the audience so that we can really find out why you've been working with the redox signaling?
Sure, Catherine, thank you. And I'm so glad that you're one of the people that evaluated this properly. Even though it's a breakthrough and breakthroughs always sound too good to be true to people, I'm really glad that you did look into it and you're sharing it with people. And you've already told me the amazing results so many people are having. And I love that. That's why I went into medicine, to help people. I didn't think I'd be able to teach other people to be able to do the types of things that help people. I was a foot surgeon. That's my background. So I'm David Silverman, by the way. I live in Delray Beach, Florida, half the year. That's where I am right now because it's winter time. But I'm from the Washington, D.C. area. We still have a home there. And my background is foot surgery. That was my field for many years. I don't do that anymore. I'm 62. I feel like I am 26. You can reverse those numbers, 6 and 2, and make it 26. In fact, I just got back from a month-long trip to Asia, about 4 weeks, 17 flights, spoke every day, all day, sharing this and explaining this to lay people, to doctors, to billionaires, to congressmen, to senators. And it didn't faze me at all. And at 62, I never thought I'd have this kind of energy, but I do. But that's my background. I don't do that anymore. 12 years ago, I was introduced to this breakthrough, and my dad was really ill. So I took the time to look at it to see if it could help him. He's fine today. We're celebrating his 85th birthday Saturday night at our club here. We have all-you-can-eat lobster nights, what we're doing. So he's coming over with my mom. And thank God my friend brought this to me. But, you know, when I saw what it did for my dad, I wasn't sure if it was this that did it. He had a pretty grave issue, type of issue no one wants to hear they have in any part of their body, their prostate or their breast or their lung. So it wasn't my dad that convinced me this was real. It was referring people to my friend and them coming back weeks and months saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. That made me really go meet the scientists, see the FDA registered production facility where they produce it and all that. So now, just to bring it up to speed, I'm on the medical board of the company, Asea, which is a volunteer position. I'm an entrepreneur. I started sharing this with people, shared it with people. It creates a ripple effect. And, you know, some people listen and some don't. You were caught up in that ripple effect just like I was. Someone brought it to you. But it was because I told somebody who told somebody who told somebody who brought it to you. And I was voted Business Builder of the Year a couple of years ago, which was an honor. But that's really because of people just sharing something good with the people they love. It just happens naturally. And I was voted Mentor of the Year by the other leaders in the company, which is a big honor to me. But I'm very passionate about this, as you are, and thanks for having me on.
It's fantastic. And I'm really pleased to see people joining us from all over. We've got Canada, we have got North Carolina, we've got another Canada, we've got UK, we've got Palm Springs, we've got Norway. So thank you for joining us. And don't be shy today to ask questions, because this is your opportunity to ask questions. Now, the reason I got the best of the best on to answer these questions with us is it's all very well me sharing my experiences with you, but a lot of people, quite rightly so, want to hear from medical professionals that have really put their reputation on line. So today we're going to be asking all your questions, and I have a long list that my customers and clients have emailed in for me. But before we do that, let's just do the technical side of things and read out the medical disclaimer, which we have to. So what David and I are discussing today is not intended to replace any medical, legal or financial advice, not intended to diagnose, cure, treat or prevent any disease. This video is for educational and information purposes only. So now we've got the formalities out the way. So I'm going to fast straight in to the questions, and I'm going to be taking a mixture of questions for the audience and what we've got emailed in. So we've got Eva here who says, I'm in my late 70s and wonder if elderly people can take more than 120 mils a day. I have a very good effect of using Asea. After 1 month, the eye pressure went down from 19 to 16. Thank you so much for sharing that, Eva. Dr. David, what do you say about that?
So first of all, Eva, that's wonderful. Reading about the eye pressure. I've been seeing this happen for 12 years. And I'm just as excited today as I was 12 years ago, because I have people tell me this all the time, whether it's eyes or lungs or bone. Every part of our body is made up of cells. And the fact is, what's in this bottle is in us. We all make it, but we made it more when we were younger in our mitochondria. And as we age, we produce less and less and less and less. And you see a lot of issues develop as we get older, including increased eye pressure in some people, including hormone problems in some people, including joints hurting, including heart problems, breathing problems, blood sugar problems. So everything in the body is cells, right? So all we're doing when we drink this is we're raising our levels back up to what they were when we were younger. And it's as safe as water, which is really a miracle of modern science, because it's not a pharmaceutical. Pharmaceuticals are great. And I'm sure you put drops in your eyes, different drops for your pressure, but they have side effects. They have limited amounts you can use, or you can have real problems. You can't hurt yourself with this. It's just not a pharmaceutical. So to answer your question, can you take more? Absolutely. I drink 240 ml a day. So I go through about 2 bottles a week, but it's as safe as water. In fact, when I went to Asia for the month, I was drinking a whole bottle a day every day for about a week, because I knew I was going to be on 17 flights at 62 years old, around coughing and hacking people in immigration lines and planes and everything else. I could not afford to get sick when I'm speaking sometimes 3 times a day to 200 people in a crowd constantly. So my point is, you can't drink too much. The question is, how much is enough? So the rule of thumb is people start at 120 ml a day, 60 ml in the morning and 60 ml at night, or that's 2 ounces.
Oh, look, snap.
Yeah, right. So it's 60 ml in the morning. Hold it in your mouth for 30 to 60 seconds. Swallow it, because it gets in through absorption, not through digestion. And do that twice a day for a week. If you're not seeing changes that you want to see, then just temporarily double it and go to 240 ml a day. When I say temporarily, because generally people stay at that amount. In the United States, that's 8 ounces, 240 ml. We call it the magic 8. So they go to the 8, they stay there until they see their changes. You're doing it right now. And then once they see their changes, they can try to decrease it just to save money. I mean, fortunately, there's a way to get the product for free. Anybody that wants to get it for free can get it for free. But here's the general rule. People who are older generally are going to need more than 120. Why? Because, when you're 10, you're producing this much. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. You see you're producing less and less as you get older. So generally older, someone's 30, they're producing this much. They may only need 120. Somebody that's 70 might need 240, right? So the older someone is, the more ill they are, generally they'll take more. And the bigger they are. If they're just bigger people, they'll need more. So the answer to your question is, you can definitely take more than 120. The only reason people say, well, why wouldn't I just start at 240 and work backwards, or at 8 ounces a day and work backwards? The reason is because one of the things this does is it causes cellular turnover and you release toxins. So when you get a deep tissue massage, which I go to once a week for an hour and a half, they always give me a big glass of water when I'm done. Why? Because they're releasing toxins. And if I don't urinate them out, I could get a headache, I could get a rash, I could get diarrhea, I may not feel well. Well, when you drink this stuff, that's like having a full body massage on every single cell of your body. And you're going to release a lot of toxins. You want to drink a lot of water. Well, if you start at 120 ml a day, the chance of you feeling the detox, the negative feelings, not a negative thing, but the things that are unpleasant, is about 10%, less than 10% of people will even feel it. And if they do, they either drink more water or they cut this down temporarily a little bit. But if we started everybody at 240 ml a day, right? You're drinking water. If if we started everybody at 240 ml or 8 ounces a day, the incidence of detox symptoms would be higher. And we don't want to scare people. Someone gets a headache and says, oh God, this is bad for me. My doctor says stop because I got a headache. Well, ignorance is not bliss. Okay. Ignorance is not bliss. If the doctor researched this, the doctor would say, oh, that's detox. Definitely stay on that. So you can definitely take more than 120 ml a day. Some people drink a half a bottle a day, and there are people who have been told, get your affairs in order. There's nothing Western medicine can do. They're drinking the whole bottle every single day. By the way, the reason is if you take too much of a medicine, your liver can't metabolize it. So if this is the proper dosage and your liver's metabolizing it, then you take your next dose. But if you took 3, 4, 5 times the amount you're supposed to, your liver can't keep up and the toxicity builds up. Your kidney can shut down, your liver shut down. You could have ringing in your ears. You could have blood pressure, blood sugar, all kinds of things. Eventually, it'll kill you. You'll overdose on any medicine because it's toxic. This is not a medicine, right? It's something that's inside of us. And if you drink too much of it, your body instantly says, I can't use any more of this. And it's not metabolized by the liver. So the body immediately turns the excess back into salt and water, back into saline, because that's what your body makes it from.
Fantastic. And we're going to come on to that brilliant explanation. I just wanted to share this by Andrea. She's saying she's got 2 teenagers in the house. Good luck to you with that, Andrea, who've been using the Renew 28 for a couple of months now on their acne. I can't believe the difference. It's quite amazing. Do you know, this is what I love, is this is suitable for all ages. It's absolutely fantastic. If anyone hasn't tried the skincare range yet, it's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, isn't that wonderful that it really helps teenagers with their skin and hormonal balance?
Well, in the disclaimer, you said we don't make medical claims, and we don't. I don't say this helps acne. I don't say this helps diabetes. I don't say that. I don't say it helps pain. I don't say it helps blood sugar problem. I don't say it helps anything because we're not allowed to say that. But what we can say is 3 words. Do your research, and then there are 3 words. It can't hurt. If someone's got issues that they're not satisfied with whatever they're doing, or whatever they're doing is causing side effects, you don't have to stop what you're doing to do this. You just add this on and you just watch what happens to yourself. And so if you see a change in blood sugar, hey, fantastic. If you see a change in skin, I mean, pimples, are not going to kill anybody, but they can affect a young person's self-image, possibly for the rest of their life. Just because it sets them on this path of being embarrassed, and then they subconsciously they feel that, or they have scars on their face afterwards, whatever it is. So generally, healthy children don't need this product because they're producing a lot. But as soon as we go through puberty, isn't that strange? Because that's when pimples start. As soon as you go through puberty, you start producing less and less and less of this. So, but if a child has, let's say they have breathing issues or skin issues or focusing issues or cognitive issues, whatever, the nice thing about it is it can't hurt anybody. And it's a beautiful thing. And that's the other thing is with skin issues, it's very important, I think, for people to validate it themselves. Reading about it, reading books, simple books on it, reading complicated books on it. It's all just words. But once you've had an experience yourself, you take pictures of pimples, and it's like it's been that for a long time. You take pictures every week and watch what happens over 4-8 weeks to a kid. It's undeniable when someone sees what happens to themselves. And no matter what anybody ever says, their brother-in-law is the greatest doctor in UK or the greatest doctor in the United States, but the doctor is ignorant about this. No matter how much that doctor says, oh, it's just salt water, it's a scam. Once you've seen it yourself, pardon my French, you don't give a damn what anybody says because you know. And I think you get to a certain point in life where you realize that just because the masses say something is so and good doesn't mean it's so and it's good. I mean, the fact that people had a choice on taking a vaccination, some people didn't. I'm not going to get and talk about vaccinations, but the people that said, oh, give it to me. I know it's safe. Give it to me. That's ludicrous to think that there's no risk with something that was developed in 6 months, but the masses did it. And so whatever the masses are doing, I look, but I don't just jump in because the masses are doing it, and the masses aren't doing this yet. They will. I just know, and you know it, we know, and these people that have commented already, that we're kind of pioneers in this, and it's pretty exciting. It really is.
It really is. Just before we get on to the next question, because you've got your books out, I've had one question in from one of the audience is about where do I find the real science? So we've got the real science about Asea, and we've got the real science about Redox Signalling Molecules, which is Asea. Can you talk us through, you know, what Asea are allowed to say about the science, and hold up some of those books again that you had?
Sure. So if you want to get some science on redox signaling molecules, go to pubmed.gov, pubmed.gov, and you'll find 30-some thousand studies on redox signaling, right? There's a book called Redox Matters. People that want a little more of the deeper science, if you go to redoxmatters.com, you can get this book. And if you want to get it for health professionals that want deep science, there's a health professional series, a discussion with Dr. Dick Walker there. So you go to that site, redoxmatters.com, click videos, then click Dr. Dick Walker videos, then scroll down to health professional series. And he's going to get into some deep stuff, electron transfer, what's happening at the cellular level, what's happening at the genetic level. This turns genes back on that turn off as we age. And then if you want a simple book, this is a simple one. It's called Life's Biohack by Ricardo Wilkins. This is very readable, very readable. Look, I'll just tell you, this textbook here is difficult to read. This is easier than this, but for some people, it's like, that's too much. This one is easy for anybody. And the bottom line is this. Anybody that says, I need to understand the science before I try the product, I will tell you that, you know, my dad was ill and I was interested in the science. I was, because I was curious, but I really didn't care. I love my father. All I cared was, could it help him and could it hurt him? And once I saw there was no way it could hurt him, you can't be allergic to it. It's in him and all of us and our animals. It does not interfere with medications because it's in us, and it's non-toxic. Plus, is a money-back guarantee, but that I didn't care about that, but a lot of people do. It's like, what do I have to lose? Do I have to understand the science? I would say, if someone says, I need to see more science, big studies, here's what I say. Order the product, test it, money-back guarantee. If you don't like it, get your money back. Take the gel, the Renew 28, go find 10 people who have something in their body that hurts them. Their hand, their neck, their back, their knee, anything. And say, give me 10 minutes. And you do your own little test. Okay, I'm telling this for a reason. And Catherine, you know why I'm saying this. You find 10 people that are hurting. You ask them, what is your level of discomfort on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being horrible. They can't move their arm. They can't close their hand. And 1 is, yeah, it's a 1. It's a little stiff. You know, they do a deep knee bend, whatever, it come up. So you have 10 people say that, and they're all going to give you 10 minutes. That's it. Shake up the gel that's made from salt and water, it's patented again, made from salt and water, clear, no smell, marketed for wrinkles, putting it on my face, but have them put it on the area that hurts 3 times, 3 applications in the first 5 minutes. So they put it on, it dries, they put it on, it dries, they put it on, it dries. And at 10 minutes, ask those 10 people how they feel to re-rate their discomfort level. This stuns everybody. Because watch what happens, not to 2 or 3 of them or 4 or 5. Watch what happens to 9 out of 10. And they could be negative, cynical people that say, I don't believe a word you're saying, David. That's ridiculous. Okay. Does your neck hurt? Yeah. What's the level? 3 times in 5 minutes. And when people do that and they've seen it, they realize a few things. 1, it's real because it isn't salt water. Because you rub salt water on 10 people, you do that on 10 people and watch what happens.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's really good idea.
But you realize it's real. It's easy for anybody who wants to see if it's real to know that it's real. Because if you just did that, anybody can do it, right? I mean, your 10 people are the same as any other 10 people. It doesn't matter. And 3, it's just a matter of time before everybody else finds out about it. And lastly, when people say, oh, I don't see enough studies, you're like, just do this, and the studies that are there will be enough, because the company doesn't do studies on diseases. Catherine, I think you've been in it long enough to know this is a pretty disruptive innovation to a certain industry. And there are people, they don't want, there's a certain industry, I'm not talking about doctors. There's a certain, it's something that doctors use to take care of the problems they find. It's that industry. They don't want people well. If people are well, they don't need medicines. And so this is one of those things that's so disruptive that the company said, you know, we're going to call this a supplement, not a drug. We're not going down that approval. We'll call this a cosmetic product because it works for wrinkles and it works for cellulite. And people are just going to figure it out on their own. And that's where you and I come in, trying to just educate them as to what you can really do with this stuff.
Yeah. And you know, trust me, the more you look into this and the more you use it and have your own personal experiences, I'm going to share some of mine with some of my animals, which have been amazing. And I think you've almost answered Carol's question here about what do former medical associates think for Asea. I would imagine it varies a lot.
Well, if they rub the gel on a few people that are hurting, they all think the same thing that I think. If they choose to say, well, I need to see more studies before I even try this, or that's a scam, then what do they think? They think they know and they don't know. And that's okay, because one by one, my friends come to me and say, God, you know, we're all in our 60s. You play golf twice a day. You don't take any medications. You travel around the world. You got time freedom. You do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do. And they all, you know, not all of them, but a bunch of them kind of scoffed at it and laughed at it. And I didn't let them stop me. I said, look, I love you. When you're ready, you'll tell me. And then I would go find somebody who is open-minded. I educate that person and I teach them how to tell 10 people, and they tell 10 people, and they tell 10 people, and they tell 10 people. That's 10,000 people. I'm not worried about the doctor who says, I don't believe it. I just.
We've seen that in every area of life, haven't we, David? You know, yeah. And unfortunately, you know, you've got to be, you know, when the student's ready, the teacher will come. And, right. And I think this is absolutely key. It's like, you can't force things. I've had lots of people that haven't, and then they've come back a bit later and then sort of suddenly got that aha moment. So Julie's asking, would this help with macula?
So you're probably talking about macular degeneration and problems with the retina. So here's the thing. And there's some websites that you can probably give your listeners where they can go look up people just kind of sharing. This product helps the body identify where there are cells that are not functioning properly or something's really wrong with them, and amplifies the signal to the immune system. So we can't say it boosts the immune system, although the double-blind study kind of shows what it really does. It's pretty cool, but it just amplifies signaling. So every part of the body is cells. It doesn't matter if it's a skin cell, if it's a retina cell, a pancreas cell, a liver cell. All those cells have different functions, but they're all cells. And younger people produce a lot of this, and they don't have a lot of problems with their macula. Young people, they don't have a lot of problems with their heart. They don't have a lot of problems with their joints. They don't have a lot of problem with their hormones. They don't have a lot of wrinkles. So like I say, people start asking me, you know, will it help this? Will it help that? I know what I've seen over 12 years, but I'm not allowed to say it because the way the world is set up with what you can make claims about. But what I can say is, if you have a problem that you are not currently satisfied with the level that it's at, or with the side effects of whatever they're doing for it, this can't hurt. You can keep doing what you're doing, whatever it is, but just baseline before you start using this, baseline everything in your health, energy, sleep, vision, pressure, blood sugar, libido, everything. And say, here's where I am today with everything I'm doing, my exercise, my diet, you know, I eat healthy or I don't eat healthy, whatever it is, the medications that I take, the supplements I take, I'm going to keep doing all that. But here's where I am today. Let's just see in 90 days what happens, and take pictures as well of your skin, and you just prove it to yourself. And if it happens to help your macular problem, then wonderful. I'm not allowed to tell you that it will, and I will never tell anybody that it will, because I don't know. It isn't doing it, by the way. Your body is doing it. This is just amplifying the signal so that your body can hear that there's a problem better than it's currently hearing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Ari for H already asked, please ask away anything in this question. Now, we have got a link in the chat that Andrea has put, which is for catherineedwards.life/Asea. On that page, Ari, you will find a detailed explanation of exactly what Asea is and links to tell you more. But I think this is an interesting question. We get this a lot, David. Is it mineralized water?
No. So a couple videos that I shot. One is it was saltwater.com. It was saltwater.com, not anymore. And the other one is whyitspossible.com. Whyitspossible.com. Anybody can watch those videos. Anybody can use them to educate someone else, to open their mind a little bit, but it's not mineralized water. It's reductants and oxidants is what it is, comprised of 4 atoms: sodium, chloride, hydrogen, and oxygen. Those are the only 4 atoms that are in this, and mainly hydrogen and oxygen. So what happens, our body makes it from saline because our cells are filled with saline. So when you get an IV, they don't give you water, they give you saline because we're filled with saline. But saline is sodium, chloride, and H2O, hydrogen, oxygen. And the molecules get split apart in your mitochondria. They get rearranged to make, they're used as building blocks. Now the sodium and chloride and the hydrogen and oxygen are like bricks. You can make different structures than sodium, chloride, and water out of it. And it makes reductants and oxidants. Reductant and oxidants. That's where the term redox come from. So it's not mineralized water. There's no other elements in this other than sodium, chloride, hydrogen, and oxygen.
And as I said, below this video, Ari, you will find the link to my catherineedwards.life website. There's a tab on there labeled Asea, and we've got all this and all these links on there. And I will add those two on the saltwater.com and why is it? It was saltwater.com and whyisitpossible.com.
That's right.
So, I love this one. Something very close to my heart. Is it the same amount for dogs? Now, I'm just going to say I've been using it for my dogs who've just gone inside at the moment. And on my YouTube channel, you'll find a little short. And on my Instagram, if you show me how I'm introducing it to my dogs. But David, with dogs, it's like with any animals. Absolutely, you can use it with any animals because they've made up of cells the same way as we are. Also, our plants and things as well. And for dogs, it's more about the fact that we've all got they've got roughly the same amount of cells in it, whether it's a Chihuahua or a Doberman. But the bigger the dog or the older the dog might need a bit more. So if it was a big dog, I would be recommending the human serving size, getting it up to there. If it's a smaller dog, you can start with a bit less, definitely. And there's lots of tips there. Again, on the website page, I've got about how you can introduce it. I have got a few video shorts up there showing it with my dogs. And also I'll add one next week about with my horses as well. Anything add to that, David, about with dogs?
I was just looking for my puppy. She's not here, but she's only about 24 pounds. So she just drinks about a little half a cup of this. So it's like 30 ml. She drinks a day. And if dogs won't, because look, younger people are healthier than older people. Puppies are healthier than older dogs. They're just producing more also. This is a massive field of science that is going to become mainstream. I don't know how many more years it's going to take when they're like, my God, redox is real. This is a massive breakthrough. But anyway, it works for animals too. And if animals won't drink it, some animals won't. Horses don't tend to like it as much. So we have there's a website you can go to with veterinarians and breeders, horses, dogs, cats, all being interviewed about this. It's called animalwebinar.com, animalwebinar.com. And the password is the word associate with a capital A. You have to have a password, associate with a capital A, animalwebinar.com. Anyway, if dogs won't or animals won't drink it, you just can rub it on their skin, like their belly or in their ear, or you can just take this, put it in a spray bottle and just kind of spray it in their mouth. Look, I'm spraying it in my eye. That's how safe this is. I mean, that's going right into my eye. But yeah, however, horses, a lot of times the breeders will use it as an enema just to get it in them.
Yeah, and I use it. I have shown. I'll put a video up next week of showing you using it with my horses, and also we've got Faye and Julie on here who are real horse experts and therapists. And you can use the gel around the coronet bands on the hooves or only ever wounds and everything. So it's absolutely fantastic. We get asked a lot, David, about people with dentures or metal fillings or braces or anything. So is it still all right with them to swill it around their mouth?
Yeah, it's fine. So there are certain things that will make it expedite it turning back into salt and water, right? So when they produce it, it's redox molecules, and it immediately starts turning back into salt and water. So it's a 2-year shelf life on it. Even at 2 years, if the bottle hasn't been opened, it's still a good percentage redox molecules. But a couple things will kind of accelerate it turning into salt water. One is metal. So, braces in the mouth, it's fine, fillings, whatever, but you don't want to put it in like a metal cup and let it sit. It doesn't make it dangerous, just makes it weaker. So it's not going to hurt anybody, right? And the other thing is anything carbon-based. So you cannot mix it with juice or anything because when it gets in contact with carbon, it starts to turn back into salt and water. So as soon as it's touching your tissues, it's getting into your bloodstream through your tissues. That's it.
Yeah, great. Now we've got a few questions here which are talking about specific conditions, which obviously we can't really talk about specific conditions. So we've got this one with a PhD in autism. I've had a lot of clients who've been got children, family members that have noticed all round health and wellness, and same with Rosa's question about tumours and lymphomas. So obviously we can't make medical claims, but if you've got any more general comments that you want to add about those.
Well, look, one of the reasons I'm very passionate about this is because of children, and parents will do anything for their kids. And it's nice to do something that's safe, and it comes with a money back guarantee. So what people do with children with behavioral issues, whatever they are, mild to severe on whatever spectrum you want to call it, you just get a good baseline of their behavior. What are their triggers? What generally sets them off? What's their attention span? Do they look you in the eye when they talk to you? Do they lose focus? What's their normal, basically? And they start drinking it. And if for some reason they don't drink it, then you just massage them a lot with the gel. You shake it up, you massage their throat and their neck and their belly button, and just massage them with it. It gets in through the skin, not as well as the drink. But if a kid's not going to drink it, or an older adult that's losing their memory, that's combative, you can't just pour it down their throat, and that's torture. So just massage them, and then you just watch what happens. You just observe every week, kind of see if you see things changing. It's pretty humbling when you see things happen with children. But again, the 3 words are, it can't hurt. You don't have to believe. If you want to believe, immediately go put the gel on 10 people who are hurting. You're like, okay, there's something here. If you're just waiting for the drink to do something, it could take a week, it could take a month, it could take 3 months. You have to stick with it to see what happens. Some people respond quickly, some not. But if you need to have something to validate that it's real, let's say you have a negative spouse saying you're wasting our money. Put this on 10 people who are hurting 3 times in 5 minutes, ask the 10 people in 10 minutes how they are. And then the disbelief goes away. And generally the people are pretty committed to be consistent with the drink. Yes, you can put it in your eyes. You can do anything you want with it. Yeah,
it's really safe to put in the eyes, and I've got a lot of animal clients that are just spraying it in the eyes as well with a little spray bottle as well.
Or a nebulizer. You can breathe it in. You can do whatever you want with it. I will tell you, I like the nebulizer better than this because this gets kind of wet on your face. But if you get a nebulizer, you want to get one that's called Mesh, M-E-S-H. It has less metal in it. That's all. So a Mesh nebulizer is the one you want to get.
Yeah, fantastic. And great job. Andrea's putting all the comments in the chat as well for people as well. So, those will be available afterwards. Cat for Health is saying about premature babies can have a lot of issues. Have you had any experience? Have you seen it work for this?
That's the mobility issues, legs. Can't hurt. Just baseline everything. I mean, I have people say, my son has Down syndrome. Is it going to make him normal? No. I mean, Down syndrome is a chromosomal problem, but there's all these things that go along with it. So just pay attention to all of the things, energy, focus, breathe, everything, and just see what happens. I mean, it's just where in medicine, and again, this is not a medicine, where in healthcare is there something that's as safe as water that can't hurt? There's nothing. There's nothing as safe as water. And in fact, this is safer than food. And people say it's not safer than food. How is it safer than a banana? Well, give a peanut to the wrong person who's allergic to a peanut and watch them choke and die. I mean, you cannot be allergic to this. It literally is safer than food. That's why it's such a massive breakthrough. The only thing that I can see on the same level of a breakthrough of this is far above penicillin. Penicillin is a incredible breakthrough, but it's, for one thing, it's infection with specific gram-positive types of bacteria. This is not a medicine, but it affects every cell of the body, and it's so non-specific in what it does, but it does, and it's remarkable, really remarkable.
Yeah, and have a look about my interview that I did with the lovely Donna Lynn, who is a midwife, and she's got some amazing testimonials on that video. That you'll see that on my Asea playlist. This is a good question from Julie. How long before you can eat after taking the Asea?
5 minutes is fine, because once you put it in your mouth, it's getting into your bloodstream. Once you swallow it, it's getting in through your esophagus and your stomach wall, and in 5 minutes, it's not even in your stomach anymore. So the reason you don't want to just take a gulp of it and eat a hamburger is because it's coming in contact with the hamburger, which is organic, and it's going to turn some of it back into salt water. So 5 minutes, you're fine. That's why it's good to hold it in your mouth for 30 seconds at least when you're drinking it, because it's getting in through the tissues. Yeah, exactly. So, and the great thing is when my husband's doing it, he can't answer me back for at least those 60 seconds. So we've got a question from Carol that I'm not going to put up on the screen just for censorship issues, but have you seen positive outcomes for people post having these sort of things that might get put into the body? Let's just put it this way. We've seen some pretty incredible things happen. So again, whatever the issue is, I don't care if it's because somebody got some kind of injection in their arm, or if it's because they touched the hot stove, or because they have ringing in their ear. It doesn't really matter. I can't tell you it's going to help, but I can tell you it can't hurt. And if you're focused on one specific thing and you're like, oh, my blood sugar is high, if this doesn't make my blood sugar go down, I'm not going to believe this. Pay attention to everything else. I mean, there's a timeline. Your body's going to deal with what it needs to deal with first, and maybe dealing with things you don't even know are there. And your body knows that the priority is it better take care of that problem before it starts dealing with other things. And that's where the energy is going, towards that. So just do it. And yes, you can. I see you. Can you put it on open wounds? Yeah, you can put it on open wounds. I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but you can put it anywhere you want. It has some pretty interesting effects on bacteria and viruses. So you can do whatever you want with it. And we've got on this chat, we had on one of my team calls, we've got the lovely Faye who works with horses on here, and she had a horse that had a horrific injury putting its legs through a wire fence. And I had a cat that had a huge abscess that burst, leaving a massive great wound on his side. And just putting it on was just absolutely amazing how quickly he progressed and got back to normal. And his fur is now absolutely beautiful. So I can vouch for that. It's absolutely fine for doing that. Now, I've got a couple of comments, important questions, David, that people have sent in. So this one, it gets asked a lot. How does the glutathione increase with Asea? It raises your levels of glutathione. It's not glutathione. But glutathione, there are two forms of glutathione. There's active, that's doing what it's supposed to do, the antioxidant, and the inactive. And the active is reduced. Reduced mean not in number, reduced in charge. It's been reduced with an electron. And the non-active is non-reduced. Well, there are reductants in here. So when you drink this, you're not making your body make more glutathione. We don't think so. What we think is happening is that you've got this active, but you've got this glutathione that's not doing anything. It's activating it. So So for all intents and purposes, you've raised your levels of glutathione, of active glutathione.
Yeah. And again, I know people have had very good results with that. Got another question here. Is this just electrons neutralizing positive radicals?
No, it's not. And what I recommend is for people that are asking those types of questions, you're obviously your science background, go to redoxmatters.com, go to videos, go to Dr. Dick Walker videos, and then click Health Professional Series, and he'll be talking about what's going on with the electrons there.
Yeah, lovely. That's great. That one lady's written in and said that 6 out of the 8 patents expired on the Asea website. Why is this?
Oh, there are more patents than they show, and a lot of it is intellectual property. So when Virtus Norton took this technology, and the video is the genesis of Asea. I'm not sure if you have that on one of your websites, Catherine, but it's a video that you have it there.
I'll have to check. I've got so many on there. I think, I
recommend. I put a site together called gettingyoungerclub.com. It doesn't have any contact for me. Nobody should reach out to me. It's just everybody uses it around the world. Gettingyoungerclub.com, and scroll down to where it says not for sale. Why Asea chose not to sell to a pharmaceutical company. Thank God. The patents, the intellectual property, all of it. But Virtus Norton, you'll see him in that. Virtus is one of the 2 founders of the company. Brilliant man, strategist, business strategist. He was in charge of international strategy of a $36 billion a year company. I mean, that's a big company, $36 billion a year. And he was in charge of strategy. So when he took the technology, he didn't want a patent at all because patents run out. And if you patent and you have it for 20 years or whatever it is, when the patents run out, you've disclosed exactly what these patents are, and anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. And so a lot of it's intellectual property. It's kind of like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola's been around for 100 and some years. There's no patents on Coke, but there's intellectual property. No one knows the exact formula, right? And that's what this is. And it's not reverse engineerable. You can't figure out how to. It's not like, no, the Chinese shoot down an American plane, they take it apart, they put it back together. Oh, we can make a modern fighter. Now, you can't do that with this. So that's the reason. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Should you use it before or after brushing your teeth?
I mean, I do it before, but I mean, the bottom line is all you're going to do is it might just be a little bit weaker, tiny bit. So don't worry about it. If you brush your teeth first, just make sure you rinse out all the toothpaste really well.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, taste changes. Just a few more questions if you've got time for that, Dr. David. Sure. The taste change is something I absolutely love how this works and that thing. Can you talk through people why it might taste a bit odd when they first start taking it and why it starts to they don't notice the taste after a while?
Yeah. So when I do live presentations, like I just did I just came back from Singapore and Malaysia and Borneo and it was in Jakarta. I was in the Philippines for a month, and we did a lot of live meetings, and I always have people taste it. And you have 10 people taste it, and you say, just tell everybody what it tastes like. First person drinks it and goes, tastes like swimming pool water, kind of. Next person tastes it, says, yeah, it tastes like swimming pool water. Third person tastes it and says, swimming pool water tastes like water to me. You taste swimming pool water? Yeah. Well, this person tastes like a little bit like salt water. Tastes like water. Next person. Ooh, God, that is awful. For people that are really non-toxic, it tastes like water. We have toxins in our bodies, and it affects our taste buds. It affects everything, and it'll taste more like swimming pool water the more toxic someone is. And I've had people say, that's not true. I eat organic. I don't have toxins in my body. I'm like, really? Do you have carpeting in your house? Yeah. Do you have furniture? Yeah. When you have sunlight coming in, do you ever see dust, or you ever see dust on your shutters in your house? Yeah. And when the sun's coming in, do you see it floating sometimes on yeah. What do you think that is? Well, a lot of it is coming off the sofa, off the rug. There's fire retardant and all that stuff. We breathe garbage in all the time. We cook on Teflon. You have that in you. We have pesticides. We have all kinds of stuff. And so then people say, oh, I guess I do have toxins in me. Yeah. So when the glutathione goes up and the cellular turnover happens, you start urinating that out. It cleanses your body. So the taste just gets better over time.
And I really noticed that. And I did tell some of my friends this, is I had a couple of weeks ago, I had 3 friends' birthday dinners in a row. And we went out, we all had a few glasses of wine and we were eating at the pub. So it wasn't, such a good thing. And for the first time in months and months, when I took my Asea the next morning, I could taste it again. So that's how your body reacts. And it's beautiful indication for you in terms of when people actually start seeing that change. It's not a bad thing if you take it and you're shocked about how bad it tastes to you, and that's a realization you've got a lot of toxins in your body. It's great because you've now chosen to do something about it. And that's where when people say to me if they're getting any slight detox symptoms, I say that's healing symptoms. That's your body getting rid of the stuff that it doesn't want.
Yeah, it's making you aware of something you weren't aware of. I mean, it's like, you live on top of a house that the neighbor, everybody's getting cancer, and you find out there's uranium right under the structure, the building you're in. It's like, it's good to know that it's there so you can get the hell out. I mean, ignorance is not bliss, as I say. For some people it is, but it's nice to be made aware of things before they become horrible problems.
Yeah, I love it. So, this is a great thing, is our bodies are giving us feedback all the time, but we've been taught not to listen to it. And this is what I love about the Asea, the Redox molecules, is they're getting us back to tune in with everything, because every little bit of our mind and body and spirit is linked, and this is working across the whole system. So I can't let you go, Dr. David. I love speaking to you so much, but I know how busy you are. But I've got one final really important question.
Sure.
Now, a lot of people hear people saying, I can get it for free. How does that work? Can you just explain to people very briefly what we mean when we say people can get it for free?
Well, one is they can just go to someone's house who has it and they can steal it. That's how you get it for free, one way. But that's not the good way. The way to get it for free is to be a nice person. Nice people can get this for free. When they started this company and they decided, when Virtus said, well, we can't just sell it on a store shelf. It's made from salt and water. It says that who's going to buy it? A certain percentage of people are going to get a headache from it or a rash. It needs some hand holding. And they landed on network marketing, word of mouth marketing. So once they did, they made a lot of expenses go away. Advertising, middlemen, spokespeople, all of the money that companies spend on those things to get their product to the world went away. So the money that would go there goes to us for sharing. So someone gets on the product, they baseline their sleep, energy, mood, skin, everything, and they prove it to themselves. They're like, this stuff is great. I want to be on this for the rest of my life. Because really, I mean, when we were young, we produced a lot, 20s, 30s, 40s. I'm 62. I'm producing this much. And I drink this, I raise my levels up. It's a biohack, right? But if I stop, I'm just going back. My body keeps making it. I'm just going to go back to where I was.
Exactly.
I'm 62. I feel 26. I don't want to feel 62. Maybe when I'm 90, I do, but I don't want to feel 62. So you want to drink it forever. Well, then it becomes a monthly expense for you and your family. If you're a nice person, you share it with people. You, instead of just being a customer where you're just buying the product, you can be an associate, which a lot of people join as an associate from the beginning just to get the best product. But what that means is you have a business if you want it to be a business. The company does everything for us. They do the R&D. There are more products coming out, by the way. They do the R&D. They do the testing. They do the production. They do the shipping. They do the accounting. They do the legal. They do everything. All we do is share with people what we have. And you share it with a few people and have a few customers that are ordering the product. The company pays you for that. Not once, but every time those people order the product, every time they order product, they pay you over and over and over again. And people say, well, how can they do that? Because the company doesn't spend money on advertising. So they're paying us. And then if you want to take it further than that, instead of those people being customers, 90% of people would like to have more money. They may not say it to you, but fact, 90% of people would like to have more money, either to reduce stress in their life or to be able to do more things that they want to do, or have more security, or leave something for their children in their will. They don't, whatever it is, take care of their older parents. They want more money. And what money doesn't make you happy, but it gives you choices, and choices takes away stress if you have choices, and can give you a little more joy. So the company, let's say those 10 people you have on the product, they want to make money. Well, they can share it with 10 people each, as an example. Now those 100 people are getting product. The company pays you for that too. It's a ripple effect. The company would not have got those 100 people if it wasn't for you telling your 10. Well, what if those 100 people each told 10 people? That's 1,000. So you don't have to expand it and do what I did and build a massive business, but it's easy. With all the Zooms that we do, the Q&A Zooms that you do and I do, for a person to educate a handful of people so that they make enough money to pay for their product. So in essence, they're getting their product for free.
Yeah, and there's so much support for that. And I just want to encourage people. So scrolling along the bottom and in the link below the video, there is a number. And if you text the word Catherine to that number, that goes through to Jay's team for Spiritually Raw, because we want to make sure that anyone that gets on this product, first and foremost, gets tapped into the right advice. You get the right product for your needs. And secondly, the right amount of products you need at the most cost-effective price for you. So please, please, please do reach out. We've got a website page that's got all this information on there, but reaching out just to get that first order right is just invaluable, because I cannot tell you the amount of people that reach out to me afterwards and say, oh, I wish I hadn't bought it retail. I wish I bought it as an associate straight away. It would have saved me a fortune and earned extra points straight away to 3 products. So it's really worth you just taking that little bit of time to order right. And I'm just looking at my hair, David. My hair, when I went to the hairdresser last time, it's growing so quickly. It's ridiculous. So every time I go to the hairdressers, I'm like my pony now. They're like, it is ridiculous. And anyone who watches my video sees it sort of almost grows an inch a week. Yeah.
I'll tell you what's interesting. The more you take, like before I went to Asia, I was drinking about a bottle a day for a week. Your nails grow really fast, and your hair grows really fast. So I generally drink 240 ml, 8 ounces a day, and they grow fast. I mean, it never grew this fast. Maybe when I was a kid, well, it makes sense. But when you bang it up a little bit, you bump up the amount, it just starts getting crazy. And it's just a nice little side benefit for people that I don't have hair issues. People that have hair issues, it's thinning or whatever it is. Take pictures of your scalp too before you start doing it. You can massage this in, you can massage the gel in, you drink it and watch what happens.
Yeah, fantastic. I cannot thank you enough. I really want to thank everyone who's joined us today and asked questions. I will be doing more Q&A because I think it's so, so important that people understand and feel comfortable and really see, just how this really, anything with the cell, this is going to help with. David, thank you so, so much for giving your time yet again. We appreciate you so much. And I'm sure I will be getting you back again soon. And are you off to play golf now?
I'm just about to. Yeah, I'm getting all these texts. So like, where are you?
Where are you? Well,
I'm coming. It's fine.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And, anyone, if you've got any questions, I'm always here. You know how all my links are always below. So I would far rather people ask than sit there and worry about anything. If I don't know the answer, I know someone that does. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. David.
Thanks, Catherine.
Bye.